You're forgetting my most important role, and that is that I'm Lonnie and Seth's father.
Absolutely.
And they're the ones that really make things happen as far as the ball club's concerned. We've just been incredibly excited about the opportunity to have our ball club into Fredericksburg. It's just been a remarkable opportunity to work with the silver companies, putting the project together, and an incredible city with wonderful leadership.
Sure. Now, I know you've had a love for baseball since being a child. Do you want to tell us briefly about?
Well, you're gonna make me say how old I am in doing that, which I'm not terribly shy about. I usually start by saying I was at Jackie Robinson's first game, April 15, 1947. Knowing that it was an incredibly historic event. I was almost 7 years old, which means I'm 78 now. I grew up in the shadow of old Ebbets Field, the home of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and used to stand in the middle of the street playing stickball, where home plate was a sewer. First base was the left rear tire of a Ford parked on one side of the street. Second base was another sewer. Third base was the left front tire of a Chevy. We used broomsticks and a rubber ball. And then when we would hear the national anthem being played at Ebbets Field, we would stand there, take off our baseball hats, cover our hearts, and wait until it ended.
Beautiful.
David, you're not drinking enough beer.
We just got here. And so now, for those that don't know, you and Lonnie and Seth, this family has owned the team for almost 30 years now. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the team?
Yeah, we're going into our 30th season of owning the ball club. My day job was being a banker. I was president of the bank in the Baltimore, Washington area for many years. And an opportunity came to me to buy the ball club in Prince William County. And we considered it, we did it. I actually coached first base on weekends for 22 years. Had the opportunity to see a couple of hundred of our players go on to the major leagues. We've had 4 most valuable players who have played for us. The franchise is now 40 years old, actually. But we had Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, Joey Votto, who's now in Cincinnati, and Bryce Harper with Washington. We've been affiliated with the Nationals since 2005, since they first moved into Washington.
In your search for a new stadium location, what was it? Was there anything in particular about the city of Fredericksburg that attracted the team and the family?
I think that what is unique, and I think that what we have learned over the last 7-8 months, I think, since we've been involved in this project, is that there is a distinct sense of community in the Fredericksburg area that just does not exist in other parts of Northern Virginia. We've been in Prince William County for 34 years. There is no sense of identity of people saying, I'm from Prince William County, or I'm from the town of Woodbridge. Or even the same thing in Fairfax County, or Loudon, or Arlington, maybe some degree in Alexandria. And came here, and there was a distinct sense of community, and a sense of community pride, that people were from Fredericksburg. And one of the key things to the success of a baseball franchise is not just the support that you get in terms of tickets for people who are going to come to games, but from the business community. And the business community has been extraordinary in terms of their willingness to come out and to support us and to get involved in what we call founding partnerships, in terms of renting suites, in getting involved in a whole bunch of different types of things that we do. The location, obviously, as you well know, in Celebrate, Virginia, one of the certainly most successful town centers on the east coast of the United States, on 95, high-quality retail facilities, hotels, remarkable location, and being able to have a ballpark right there on 95 next to the Expo Convention Center couldn't be a better location. Our fans are families. They're not die-hard baseball fans. They are people who are looking for affordable family entertainment. And that's what we do. On a very high-quality basis, reasonably priced, and in a physically safe environment. And what's happened now is that, because we've been doing this for well over 20 years, is that I'll go out on the field and I'll walk into a bunch of tents and a guy will come up to me and he will say, Art, I just want you to know that 15 years ago I was doing this with my parents and now I'm doing it with my own family.
We are now sitting with Seth and Lonnie, and we'd like to take a moment to introduce them as part of this family. Go ahead and start, Seth.
Sure. So,
wait a second.
Let's do that again.
No, wait, no,
Hold on.
I mean,
Cut.
No, don't cut. I think you need to
keep
go
going.
on. I mean, there's a question here as to who's in charge.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, you went to him first, okay? And I'm the father, okay? And, and that's not right. I mean, there's a pecking order.
I gotcha.
And she's older, okay? And she's the president of the ball club and so forth. So you have to understand the way that we actually make things happen. Okay, now that you can talk and you can say who you are.
okay. So I am Seth Silver. I'm Art's son, Lonnie's brother, and so baseball, huge part of my life. And I actually don't work daily in the business. I'm a lawyer in Washington, but as I'm sure my dad has explained, we've been working on this for more than a decade, and building a ballpark is a dream for all of us. And so I'm spending a lot of time hoping to make this happen. And just excited to do it in Fredericksburg.
It's your turn now.
Thank you. I'm Lonnie Weiss, Art's daughter and Seth's sister. This is a true family business. We work together in operating the business. I have been working at our current ballpark in Woodbridge for 22 years. I'm the president of the company, and I run the business side of the business with a wonderful staff that does everything else from sales to promotions and everything else that takes to put on the show that was described earlier by my dad. But my family loves running this business together, and it is our dream to continue running it together along with our children into the future and here in the city of Fredericksburg.
And my grandson, your son, is actually working.
That's right. Our third generation is now also working for the team.
And my job, I have the title of being chairman and chief executive officer, which means I do absolutely nothing. I mean, I coach first base for 22 years. I do batting practice. And, during the games, I get a chance to schmooze with all the fans, and I check out the food and make sure that it's just the way I want it to be and things like that. But seriously, we've got an opportunity right now, I think, uniquely as a family to create something that will go into the next generation for us. And we have had the most incredible experience. Baseball has been a passion of mine and Lonnie's and Seth's, and frankly, our three grandchildren as well, and or my three grandchildren, their children. And we think that the opportunity of coming here is absolutely extraordinary. I don't know if you want to add to that, Seth.
No, I mean, I think just talking about baseball, growing up, the prized possession in our house that I remember from my earliest age was a baseball sitting on the shelf in my dad's office, which was signed in the sweet spot by Jackie Robinson. And the story goes on from there, but it's just been an integral part of our lives ever since I was little. My dad coached me in Little League. I've had the opportunity to coach my son in Little League, and it's this incredibly fundamental part of our lives. And my dad and I were just talking earlier and realized he bought the team 29 years ago at the exact age I am right now, which is 49, which is kind of incredible to think about. But I remember I was a junior in college, and my dad called me up and said, "You won't believe what we're about to do." And what that was to buy into a baseball team, which is the most incredible thing. And you know, we've had a blast with it over the years, and the opportunity now to build a team, a business, a franchise in this city that has such a sense of community is incredible. And as we're getting to meet the businesses and people in the community and speak to people and getting to design a ballpark that's going to be very community oriented, it's just, you know, we're pinching ourselves. So.
Lonnie, do you remember getting that same phone call?
So I was probably the next call that was made, and I was, in 1989, I was in
You're still in college.
I was in college, yes. I was still in college.
Boston.
In Boston. And my dad said, "We're buying a minor league baseball team." And I said, "Never heard of it." And I literally I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant to buy a team. I said, "Okay." And I literally had no idea what to make of it and didn't give it another thought. Came home that summer, came to a game. I stood in line. Somebody put tickets out for me. I then went to the concession stand, didn't understand it was our business, bought food, bought souvenirs, didn't know that it was ours. And now, you know, here it is 22 years later, and although baseball is not...
29 years.
Well, 22 years later for me as a career, and working in our family business, it's an enormous part of my life. It's an enormous part of my husband's life and my son. And now to have this incredible understanding of what minor league baseball is all about and the business of it and now to be making this major transition that is going to expand and grow in this vibrant community is so exciting after all these years of being in the business. So I'm not in it because I'm a baseball fan, I'm in it because it's our family business, and that's my passion. And to continue it here in Fredericksburg with this incredible welcome, and to become part of the community, to help serve the community, to use the facility as a year-round venue, which my dad alluded to earlier, not only for business and private events, but also for community events. We also will serve as one of the major employers of the area. We have a front office staff, we have seasonal interns, which will have an internship program with the university. However, we'll also hire over 200 part-time folks to work our games. Those will be people who are 14 and 15-year-olds who will be getting their first jobs with us, high school students, college students, teachers, senior citizens, anybody in the community who wants a job that's either their first job or an opportunity for some additional income. We're a great place to work, whether it's just during baseball season or year-round for all the other events that are going to take place in the off-season as well.